Welcome back to 7 Feet Under. Here I have a very special guest, a nice friend of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
My name is bitch ass. No, no, this is Davey from the 80s from the Cinema Chop Shop. How you guys doing today? It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming, man. Always appreciate just talking about scary movies with other fellow scary YouTubers. Yeah. But your name, bitch ass. You forgot to say it in his voice, bitch ass.
Right? Bitch ass. Oh my God. That was one of the biggest flaws, but we'll get into that.
Okay, yeah. So today we're talking about Bitch Ass, which surprisingly came out last year, even though the quality of the movie seems like it came out in, I don't know, the fucking 80s or 90s or something.
You think the 80s? I feel like it feels like an early 2000s movie. Like when we used to get those generic horror movies in the 2000s that used to get cranked out really fast.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So we'll start off with non-spoilers because it is a much more recent kind of movie. We'll talk about things kind of in a generic or just kind of a meh kind of way. And then we'll go into major spoilers where I'm going to be ripping this one a new asshole. But it seems like Cinema Chop Shop liked it a lot more than me.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it a lot more than you, but it's not. I don't think I liked it from what you think I liked it from. There's qualities of this that I like, but we'll talk about it.
Okay. So the movie starts off kind of fun because I absolutely love anthology stories. And this is like quote unquote hosted by the Candyman, even though he talks about, Tales from the Hood, Candyman. And then he talks about the first I think he said, the first black slasher, the first black serial killer, bitch ass. And he says it with a straight face. Fucking shittiest name for a killer, but whatever.
Do you feel like this was like more of a horror comedy though? Like, because I was when I saw the title, I was like, damn, this is gonna be a straight up horror comedy, but it didn't feel too comedic.
No. I can honestly say I think there was one, maybe two moments in the movie that like got me to LOL to actually like laugh out loud, but the rest of the movie was actually played decently serious.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we're on the same playing field. Continue. Sorry.
No. I mean, that's a great point because the mean one, it definitely gave off the impression that this is going to be a so bad it's good kind of movie. So in this, it kind of seemed like it should have been that. It should have been a so bad it's good. Or just a dark comedy. I mean, I absolutely love dark comedies. I don't understand people who hate on dark comedies. I love to laugh and watch people get torn to pieces, but that's just me.
Hell yeah, dude. I love dark comedies. Have you seen fucking Bubba Hotep?
Bubba Hotep is pretty fucking...
I love that movie.
Come and get it, you undead sack of shit.
Bitch ass. It comes off like an anthology, like you said. Which is hosted by the legendary Tony Todd. If you guys don't know who the hell Tony Todd is, my man is the legendary iconic Candyman. He's also the dude in Final Destination, and he's done a whole lot of stuff. But lately, I've been noticing that he's been doing a whole lot of Z horror movies, like super low budget movies that I did not think he would do. But I heard he's really nice, though.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but objectively speaking, how many good Candyman movies are there? Because I honestly, you're probably going to throw some shade on me. I haven't seen a single fucking one. How many good ones are there?
Candyman, the first one's good. The second one's okay. And then the third one's bad. And then the remake is good for like half the movie.
I saw your review on it. I never watched it because half the time you do spoil movies, half the time you don't. And if it's a decent movie, I'll watch it. Then I'll watch reviews that spoil shit, but yeah. So without spoiling anything, the movie is basically about this four group of people who are trying to initiate themselves into a gang. And what the initiation is that they have to break into this old woman's house who just recently died, but their son is there and his name is Bitch Ass, not his real name, obviously. But yeah, so they're supposed to break in because apparently she was really, really rich and basically make out with the goods. So that's basically the entire synopsis of the movie. And Bitch Ass is our masked serial killer. Exactly. And that's the plot of the movie.
So it's pretty simplistic, right? What did you think about now? Every killer has their look. Freddy got the gloves. Jason got the hockey mask. Michael Myers got the Captain Kirk mask or whatever. Leatherface got the chainsaw, so on and so forth. Bitch ass has like a Phantom of the Opera mask. And I'm assuming it's supposed to be that mask that people get after like facial surgery or something like that. That's what it looks like. But how did you feel about bitch ass's look as a killer?
It seems like their budget for this movie was about $7. So they just went for a mask that covered half of his face, just a black mask. I mean, he was a scarred face and everything. So I guess he kind of, it makes sense that he had a mask. But yeah, no, he was just a kid in a suit with a black mask. He was obviously a tall, big kind of guy, but nothing special. Exactly. That's what I think about it. Nothing special.
That was the one thing that irked me the most about this movie. Like, I hated his appearance. Like, I didn't feel he was intimidating, even though he was big as shit. I didn't feel like he was intimidating. I didn't believe him as a killer. I didn't believe him as the antagonist. I didn't buy into it. He looked like a bouncer at a club or something with a mask on or some shit. Like, I didn't buy it. And then all of a sudden, like, I mean, I get that there's some years that were supposed to pass by, but good Lord, the man's dreadlocks was like all the way to his ass. Like, how long did your hair grow in the process of like 10 damn years? Like, good Lord. Like, you went from like, I don't know, Jimmy Butler to freaking Busta Rhymes in the 90s, like within the span of like 10 years or whatever. But
yeah, there's nothing iconic about his look.
I like the concept of how he kills. Like, I like the whole game thing. It's like a black Saw or hood version of Saw or whatever, right? Low budget Dollar Tree Saw, whatever you want to call it. I liked it. It was cool.
Okay, so there's about 4 or 5 games played. So there is a couple of victims. The kill count in this movie is at I would consider like an okay or a decent level, which is always nice. I mean, you need that in a slasher movie, unlike that Sick movie where it was really fucking low. But anyway, that's a side comment. The point is that every victim in this movie has some sort of game attached to them, like a childhood game, essentially. But it felt like, I don't know if you like Family Guy, but there's this episode where they keep on making up names for candy because they don't want to get sued by like name corporations. So,
and keep in mind, we can't use any actual brand names due to advertising concerns. Right, okay. I'll have a Mr. Whippo bar, a Kooky Nut Pop, some Jim & M's.
All of these games are like well-known games. Everyone knows the fucking name of them, but because, these are named brand games, they have to come up with these random off-brand kind of names. Like, for example, instead of saying Battleship, it's like Battle Plane or something. I was like,
no, it was Mayday.
Oh, Mayday. Dude,
it was Mayday.
My gosh. It was like, heaven forbid, in a low budget slasher movie, they actually try to flex a little bit of creativity. Like, these are all games everyone's known, but they don't come up with anything new or anything original.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of waiting for. I was like, okay, like, that's cool that you kind of took this game and kind of just like darken it up a little bit. But I was like, it would have been better if like you would have came up with like your own original game that would have had like them risking their life. I guess they didn't want to seem too much like Saw, but at the same time, I don't think their budget permitted them to assert that sort of creativity. At least it feels like to me, because even the blood in this movie, like when you see the scenes where people are getting stabbed or there's supposed to be blood, like there's no there's no face shot of it. There's like only aftermath. Like, oh, like they just squirted some blood on their face and let them lay on the floor and just look like they're dead. You don't really see too much actual practical being used.
The idea, the concept of killing people with games, it's a fun one. Saw's been doing it for like 13 fucking movies. So obviously it's a concept
also
that
the
works.
Cube.
Yeah,
also
the Cube.
The Cube.
Yeah, it's a concept that works. People like it, but this just seemed cheap. It felt cheap and it looked cheep. So there's
Bitch
that.
ass also was a bad gaming host.
I
forgot to tell you. Like, what the fuck? How do you forget to tell me something as vital as this? By the way, if you guys are into hip hop, the guy with the afro in the movie is a very, very popular. Well, I don't want to say very popular, but he was a viral rapper at one time because he was on like Jimmy Kimmel and all these other shows because he could just kind of come up with raps off the top of his head, and he's just really good at freestyling. His name is Afro. He's actually in this movie. So if you guys are like into hip hop or you guys are in, because Afro is from the West. He's from somewhere in California. And I swear this dude sounds like he's from New York. Like he raps over like them classic boom bap beats. But if you guys are into hip hop and that's your little category and you know who Afro is, he's in this movie surprisingly. He actually does a pretty decent job for somebody that actually doesn't have any acting experience from what I know of.
I would honestly compare his acting quality as like the same level as almost every other person in this movie. The acting is really not very good.
What? Actually, okay, look. I think the main cast, like most of the burglars were decent. The girl, Afro, and then the main dude. Everybody outside of that was bad though. So overall, I have really enjoyed I actually like the cinematography in this movie. Contrary to popular belief, there were certain things there were certain things in this movie that were really cool, like the things that introduced the games. If you know what I'm talking about. I thought that was cool. I thought that was done really well, and then also I kind of like the introduction title card, the way that was done as well too. There's, like I said, there's certain cinematic techniques that they used in it that to me that made it kind of enjoyable at times. Like I like that, and also like I said, I like most of the gangster cast, as in the ones that broke into the house. They were enjoyable. The women in this movie, their acting was over the top, and it was kind of ridiculous at times. Like the mom, her acting was way over the top, and the lead gangster dude, his acting was over the top too. This movie didn't have a lot of blood, and it's kind of crazy to think about that because a gallon of blood don't cost that much.
I thought blood inherently was a pretty cheap thing to produce, but I guess not.
I know, right? Because shout outs to the mean one with the CGI blood. But anyway,
fucking ridiculous.
That was the dumbest shit. If this movie had a bigger budget, had more blood, maybe some more money going towards prosthetics, pick a better actor to be your lead killer, give him a better mask. Like I've seen masks on Etsy's that look way better than that shit. That's about it. Maybe pick some better games, but I was all right with the games. The games didn't completely kill me, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a mediocre film. I feel like with maybe a lot more attention to detail in the writing.
So my overall impressions of the movie, I mean, the idea of the movie is not too bad. Obviously, the name bitch ass is fucking ridiculous. The game concept is not too bad, but I thought the games were really cheap, especially because they're supposed to be robbing the house of a person who had a decent amount of money. These games did not seem like they had a decent amount of money behind them. The violence, I mean, it was a little inconsistent, and we'll go into that in the spoiler section. I definitely didn't think the acting was very good from all of them. The ending was, The beginning was also, So overall, out of 10, if I had to, I would probably give this a 4 out of 10. If I gave it a 5 out of 10, that would mean there's equal parts good and equal parts bad, but I can't give it that much praise. I have to give it at max a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I got to give it a 4 out of 10 too. But like I said, there's qualities in the film that I'll elaborate more on in the spoiler section, which we're about to get into.
All right, yeah, let's talk spoilers. I want to discuss every game by game because there's some shit to say. Okay, so
Connect 4.
So the kid's entire background story is that he wants to be a game developer. He wants to make board games and card games. Nothing wrong with that. I actually think that's not a too bad history to our main serial killer. But the first game that he does is Operation. And it basically he says you can't touch the sides. And I don't know if that guy's rib cage was lined with metal or something. I don't know how that would actually be electrocuting anyone else who was touching the sides. I don't know.
I think he had a button that he was just pushing the whole time.
Yeah.
He was just whatever, you touch the side.
Okay, I will give this serial killer credit because every single game was just as much a risk to him as it was to them. Spot on you for being a good sport. I mean, he wasn't the best game host, so explaining the rules and having enough money to actually afford all the shit. But yeah, no.
But Operation was definitely the one where I was like, he's a shitty host. And he was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, if you touch the sides, you're going to get electrocuted. I'm like, wouldn't that have been some important information to tell me before I start digging around in these guts? What's wrong with you?
I did not so for some fucking reason, you saw people under the stairs, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So on the outside, that house seemed relatively medium sized, but inside in people under the stairs, apparently it's a fucking mansion or something. And you kind of get this same concept with this movie. On the outside, the house didn't seem that big, but on the inside, apparently we need letters describing every single room these people are in, it's Clue. But there was never the aspect of Clue being played in this game. That actually wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought that each room was going to be dedicated to its own board game theme or something, you know, like because I really thought the little letters on the floor. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Like the whole like them randomly putting that in, but it never amounted to anything.
Yeah, because like for the first half of the movie, I could not tell. I'm like, are these people able to see these letters, or is this just for us? Is this for the audience?
Okay, I thought I was the only one. At first, I was like, can he see that? Like, he doesn't see this big ass sign that says hallway. Like,
yeah, who wouldn't point that shit out? I was like, why is the seller telling me it's a fucking cellar? Like, I get it. I know where I'm at.
Right? You're like, oh, this is the bathroom. No wonder this toilet is right here. All right, cool.
And yeah, this house was not big. This was not necessary. Okay, the second game was Connect 4. But apparently he didn't have enough pieces to actually finish the game. So they had to use their hands. And then they used their hands. And then the girl was actually, it was a tie the whole game. And then it's literally 2 moves. Like you use one hand for your move, then the other person, then yours, then the other person. And she loses in 2 moves, even though this was, quote, her game. And so bitch ass puts her head through it. And then like there's these blades at the top that drop down. I was like, they're robbing this place because they think there's a lot of money. You couldn't afford a few more yellow and red circles for your fucking Connect 4 game.
But that would have been a cool kill if they had the budget for it. Like, it would have been real nice to see him yank her through, and then her hand and head gets cut off, and it's like seen in explicit detail. But we didn't get that.
No, we didn't. What was the next game? The kid with the gun, who was like the nephew of the gangster. I don't remember his name. I don't ever remember people's names.
It was a game where he got like hung or something.
Oh yeah, that game made no fucking sense because so it's Jenga, yeah. So here's the layout of the game. So these 2 people have a noose around their neck, and then they're playing Jenga. They have this like dish in front of them with a stack of Jenga in front of them, and they're supposed to play it, and they can't take it from the top section, which is not really how you play Jenga. You're supposed to stack them on top, but they just kept on removing pieces and throwing them to the side. But anyway, but if your bowl like lost all the pieces, you would hang yourself. You would essentially be hanging yourself, which I don't understand how that would work. Like, wouldn't it be the other person?
Yeah, because every block that you took off, like every block they took off, it seems like it was hanging them more and more. But I guess it's supposed to be like who can make the smartest moves with less oxygen in their body, maybe.
I guess, but I mean, even so, like, how could you possibly get out of there? Like, so because bitch ass, after like the other guy lost, because obviously they always lose, after he won, he just took the noose off his neck. Like there was nothing keeping the noose around his neck or keeping his arms restrained or something. So he couldn't essentially just get out if he lost. He was like, oh, wait, what the fuck am I doing? I'm supposed to be winning.
Right. So he's just like, you thought you was going to win, didn't you? No, but the thing that really, because was the other guy like in any way restrained?
No, I don't think so. He just couldn't figure out how to like get out of a noose, which I guess I could understand. But yeah,
here's the thing though. Check it out though. So let's say he wins bitch ass, right? Bitch ass loses.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets hung. What the fuck happens to the guy? Like, how the fuck does the guy get out of this contraption?
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch ass is dangling 10 feet in the air, kicking his little feet.
Yeah, I also don't understand how that contraption is set out, because if they're the bowl in front of them, if their own blocks affect their own noose, like where is the weight? Like they're literally taking weight off of the tile, but apparently that is causing them to be hung instead of like the opposite happening.
Yeah, you would think that it would be for the other person or something.
Okay, and then bitch ass just kills one of the henchmen when the mom, head gangster, and his side guy come in. Oh fuck. Okay, so after the mom convinces them that to like go to the house and everything, and one of the guys like, man, I don't understand why she's so mean. And then the other guys go, it's because of that bald head. Oh, Will Smith.
Richard. Oh, wow.
Okay, I will say that was one of the only moments that made me like laugh out loud, and it was obviously because of current events.
Yeah, but it was random too. Like I did not see that. I did not see him saying that shit. Like it came out of nowhere, so that's what made it even more funnier. Like it felt like he just kind of like freestyled that shit like off the top of his head, but it made it even funnier. But
Okay, the
So,
next game was Mayday.
which is supposed to be
Battleship, which
All right.
makes no fucking sense. So they have these 3 planes set up on the thing, and the mom is basically saying like either like is compelled to like be honest for both of them. And bitch ass actually does take a hit, and he stabs himself in the shoulder with a knife. Which okay, that's nice. That's not bad. There's little inconsistencies in there because they say that the other guy got hit 3 times, but then there's a scene where he jumps and he has 4 knives in him.
I was thinking the same shit. I was like,
you counted too? Yeah, I was
like,
shit.
when the hell did he get stabbed the other time? I was like, what the hell? But okay, sure.
Yeah, but the thing is that there is only 3 planes on it. It doesn't seem like it's like Battleship where there are some ships that takes like 4 or 5 hits to actually sink a ship.
Yeah, he don't play. Bitch ass don't play fair.
Yeah, no. I mean, it kind of plays fair. I mean, he did fucking knife himself, which, I mean, it's a deep knife. Like, shouldn't it be just like a tiny little, like 1 to 2 inch kind of thing? But it's like a hunting knife. It's like a 3 to 4 incher. I mean, we're all very familiar with that. But
oh shit. I mean, this wasn't the best movie ever, but it wasn't the worst. But let's get to the final scene.
Oh yeah.
The final scene is between the mom and the son versus bitch ass and the mom.
And the grandma. And and he picks his game. I understand why they do it because they've been like teeing up because the kid and the mom love to play rock, paper, scissors. And that's apparently bitch ass's favorite game as a kid. But you picking that in a game of life to death, like best 2 out of 3, is the shittiest decision making you could ever make in your fucking life. It's all luck.
Yeah, you should have played tic-tac-toe or something.
Yeah, something that requires maybe, I don't know, a little bit of skill, but no, apparently, a game of luck 2 out of 3 times, or best 2 out of 3 is apparently a good choice. And what's fucking ridiculous. So every round, so the kid beats bitch ass once, and then bitch ass has his arm tied down, and then he takes a boulder and he just smashes his hand.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Fuck.
And then when the kid loses, bitch ass takes a piece of paper with razor blades attached to it and slices the
paper cut
parts of the kid's fingers. I'm just like,
I was waiting for the scissors part.
I was like, that's not really the same as like crushing your hand with a rock, unless they're all.
It's supposed to be, I guess it's supposed to be, each thing was supposed to be rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the paper beating the rock. And then the other thing was the rock beating the scissors. So
and the kid ends up losing. The kid ends up losing the game, and then the mom busts them out. She gets like the upper hand on the grandma, and when they get out, they're in essentially like some sort of fucking basement or underground tunnel kind of thing.
Looks like an outhouse.
Yeah. They get to the top, and then the mom just pours like half a can of gasoline down, lights it, and apparently the whole thing just goes up into flames. Like, sometimes
that was some of the worst CGI
really
fire too, by the way.
Oh yeah. Sometimes movies make it seem like it's way easier to start a house fire than it actually is. Like that would fucking cause no damage. Like that would burn itself out in probably 15 minutes.
You seem like a professional at fire, sir.
What?
But I set fire to the rain. Watch it burn inside. Shut your face. Fucking hell, Lucy.
I would never know such a thing about that.
What I wanted to say about the cinematography and going into more detail about it, I like the playing cards. I like that everybody had their own card. I like when that popped up. That was cool. And then also at the beginning, how it was supposed to be like Connect Four, his little specific Connect Four board, and they had the pieces like moving and coming up and down. And at the beginning of the movie, I thought that was also done pretty damn well. And even though it was stupid because nobody else can see it, I did like the floor names, like, but it didn't lead to nothing. I felt like if it would have led to something, it would have been a little bit better. But the fact that it didn't lead to anything, it kind of was like, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I completely agree with your 4 out of 10. I feel like if this movie maybe had a bigger budget behind it, maybe had more writers in the writer's ear, maybe to tell them like, all right, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should do that. Or maybe we should search the internet a little bit longer to find a better mask. Like, it kind of gives off like, Terror Train vibes, like that remake to the Terror Train. How they just, it looks like they randomly found a clown mask at like Party City and was like, "This is it. We're gonna use this," like, you know. And I it sucks that it just feels like they just grabbed some random mask and put it on this dude with dreadlocks and just said, "Look, I want you to menacingly say, I am bitch ass." Like it felt like he was trying to be. It felt like he was trying to be Gotham's savior. Like I wasn't sure if I was watching like a black Batman movie or if I was watching a horror movie. I couldn't decide. But yeah, dude, his Christian Bale Batman impersonation was not the best. Oh man. So that's all I gotta say about bitch ass.
Yeah, no, there's nothing else to say. It's a 4 out of 10. It's definitely no one needs to see this movie. I can honestly say for any praise you could give this movie, you could find another movie that does the same thing and does it better.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry. Can't do it. I cannot recommend, like, people, you gotta see bitch ass and keep a straight face. Can't do it.
But he's America's first black slasher. You have to see bitch ass.
Oh, the one that came out in 2022? Not any others? There's never been another.
Nah, just stick to Candyman. Stick to Candyman, stick to People Under the Stairs, stick to Tales from the Hood. Go watch Get Out. I'll take those.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming down to 7 Feet Under.
Oh, no problem. Maybe I could dig myself 1 feet deeper with this damn movie.
Thank you all for watching and listening, and stay spooky.